I have a problem. I can't get access to the error database in a consistent way.
That's not an impediment.
In this retrospective today, I've got a list of 10 improvements I'd like you guys to address for the next sprint. Hey, Kara, I'm going to need you guys to get more work in progress. It's pretty good, but you need more stuff in there. Cool, thanks. Awesome. Guys, that was our fastest stand-up yet. That was only 40 minutes.
Yeah. The pointing's not good.
Not so much.
Hey, I was just reading this, Adam, and it says Scrum is all about going faster. What's taking you so long?
Get back to work. There's no way this story is a 13. This is more like a 2.
All right, so we'll kick off this retrospective with 5 minutes of silent writing. Silent writing.
That's not an impediment.
As your Scrum Master and product owner, these are the stories I need you to commit to this sprint.
My computer was stolen in the break-in last night, so I can't get any work done until I get a new one.
Have you heard of paper?
Hey, Adam, I'm going to need to have this feature demoed this afternoon. You can get it done, right? Great.
Oh, no
thanks.
problem. I'm just going to add this to your work in progress.
Yeah, continuous integrations never helped anybody. Just skip that. Oh no, Chris, listen. We're doing Scrum now, so we don't have to share that sort of stuff with management.
3 months, and management thinks we can get it done in another sprint, and I just don't understand.
Hey guys, surprise! Our CEO is joining us for today's retrospective, but just do everything normally.
Hey guys, you're totally flailing, so I'm going to cut this sprint a couple days short. Where are you going?
Bio?
Do you have a task for that?
No.
All right, you guys. Here's how you let our company down this sprint.
I was just thinking, you guys have a lot to do this sprint, so let's make your sprint 3 weeks instead of 2. We'll just change it up.
Cool.
Okay.
No, you're.
Hey,
It's crazy.
disagree and commit.
That's not an impediment. So are we calling this story done? Close enough. The eyes have it. You guys are doing great this sprint, but the other team's velocity is a little bit higher. Could you pick it up just a little bit?
5 minutes of silent writing. Hey. No, now's a fine time. I'm just in a retrospective. A job at Google? Yeah.
I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so if you guys could just do your daily scrum by email, just at whatever time you like, just shoot it on email. That's not an impediment.
That's great. The other team's velocity is much better than yours, so I'm going to need you guys to work late tonight, though.
That we should break some of these stories down, convert them into, smaller stories. I think we're
Check it out.
tasking them
Check it out. The
as
cat's
they-
eating a cheeseburger. That can't be healthy at all.
Yes. Welcome, everybody, amazing and beautiful people, for this 93 episode of the Friday Live Agile with my voice with recovering. I don't know. So if you don't like these kind of rockers' voice today, well, man, I don't know what to tell you. And this is also record for the Real Agile podcast, episode 45, I think, or special episode. What have you done to my Scrum Master? So once again, I'm welcoming you. I'm proud to be before you today. Alexandre Frédéric Gély, your coach AF, and I speak on my behalf alone. I'm not speaking for Agile Lounge, nor any other company I work with. So today, Friday, December the 2nd. So welcome, December. And we are going to talk about the Scrum Master, seriously, objectively, and the objective reality. So a lot of you could have different perspective about the role of the Scrum Master and so on. But for me today, as you know, and this is why we have real in our podcast name, because it's the real McCoy, the origin, the startup point, the base camp. After that, if you're a creative mind, you might want to try and experiment anything. We welcome this and the real agile movement, let's say it. But the problem we have now is you have to understand that Scrum, it's not agile. Scrum, it's from a lean project management system that developed into a product management type of system, organizational system, process-driven to help any other SDLC, software development cycle, back in the day for software team. And now with Enterprise Scrum, created by Mike Beadle, we pushed it for business agility, and we could Scrumalize everything. And I would like to remember my audience on Rumble and YouTube. 77% of you are watching more than half a 1 hour show without being subscribed. So please subscribe and hit the notification. We are live mostly every Friday, 12 noon, 11 Central. And and we might. I was nonstop 93 weeks since Tulum. I don't know if I will continue this. And this is a live show. I'm going to go through the real objective reality, objective definition of what is a Scrum Master as described, not prescribed. And also, I'm going to talk about some business case because, as you know, I'm coaching right now about 21 Scrum Master of different level to their professional development within the Scrum world mostly. And two of them lately from Québec told me how much from what they understand when they go to Scrum Alliance conference or some Agile Boston. One was with me in Boston, and we had the chance to chat a little bit with Jeff Sutherland, and he was astounding to talk with other Scrum Master of 20 years experience, being even more powerful, if I could say that, than any enterprise Agile coach. See, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about these business case or how the organization, mostly in Canada, more than the US, they don't understand the importance of the role of a Scrum Master and how the Scrum Master should be more empowered to empower the rest of the team as a facilitator. So we're going to do this. And probably after the live in the course of the weekend, I might do something new with Rumble and Google. We could chapter it. So if you don't want to watch the 1 hour fully thing in this intro, you'll be able to click on the time gate to bring you to the specific element of the subject. I will try to keep up today. Again, apologize for my voice. Oh, and yes, here, the Scrum Beer number 20. It's coming. Mark the date. Thursday, January the 26th, downtown Montreal, in a very, very nice setting. All the rest of the information will be confirmed. And for the critic who say, why should I have to pay my my first pint in advance? It's called one of the 5 Scrum value commitment. And we'd like to encourage you to commit. But I don't know what we're going to do next time. We'd like to open up to 20, 30%. That will be nice to go back to the 50, 60 people Scrum Beer that we had before the pandemic. But we'll see about it later. So, sorry. So what I want to do now, what we're going to do together in this special Friday Live episode, it's more a tutorial, as I said, and the Day Real Agile will be more editorial from now. So that's why maybe this is a special episode for the podcaster, because I know a lot of people prefer to grab me in their pocket and run with me. So all the jogger out there, keep it up. And by the way, how was your Movember move for November? I completed with 73.5 kilometers. 60% of that was jogging, and I was 2 weeks 6 and 1 week away. 73.5. So tell me in the comment below, how was your November, and if you have any picture of your mustache or bow tie to share, please do so. You could send it to Anna or Elizabeth at this email address right here, and we could do a montage with your authorization and have a lot of fun celebrating Men's Month health, mental health and physical health. So without further ado, let's go to, again, as I said, we're going to go to the real McCoy descriptive, and we're going to see with the business case how the tailoring of Scrum system, it's one thing good, but when you start, you better, and how we could have a Scrum Master in his real position of helping the team deliver product to the customer, not just faster. It's a myth. It's more wiser with a great spirit and a great experimental. So, and again, you could chat if you like, but I will reserve a couple of minutes after the show to go through your question and comment. So let's do it now. Oh, and by the way, the clip we just saw before from Adam Weishart, he's the creator, by the way, of a great training tool for Scrum. It's Build Your Own Scrum, something that I will also provide on demand to client to learn Scrum in action. So that was a great old video. So bad thing ScrumMaster said. I wanted to open the show with that. And so here it is. Now, do we see like it's perfect? So this is the source, Scrum Guides with an s.org, because a very smart ass had purchased the Scrum Guide without the S a couple of years ago. And he's selling shit, by the way, so never mistake it. So it's always ScrumGuides.org, the official source of your Scrum Guide. And by the way, whether you are a Scrum Alliance or Scrum Org, which is a CSM or PSM search, we don't care because they're both been founded by Ken Schwaber, the funny thing, the co-creator of Scrum. And the war is over. There's no more war between any of those schools. It's just different approach, different perspective, but they all agree, whether it's Scrum Inc., Scrum Org, Scrum Alliance, Scrum Center, I think, and some other more like in the top 5 of those who are in the game for a while. If you go on any of those websites, when you click for the Scrum Guide, you end up into scrumguides.org. And now, of course, I've got the ScrumMaster section in front of me. And as I said, I'm not looking at my studio, so I don't see the chat. So if you want to chat, go ahead. You're welcome to do so. But I will see it maybe later. It's a live show. It's not really a kind of a webinar interactive on Zoom. So we have to understand that. So the Scrum Master, it starts like this, is accountable for establishing Scrum. They say as defined in the Scrum Guide, which is this one. And the Scrum Masters do this by helping everyone understand Scrum theory and practice, both within the Scrum team and the organization. I stress on it. Because when you see a lot of videos or papers about Scrum Master versus coach or Agile coach, well, let's quote one of the great early adopter of Scrum back in the day. If you want to do Scrum well and practice Scrum well and create patterns well, maybe a coach called a Scrum Master will be nice to have. That was Mike Beadle somewhere in the early 2000s. So that's the thing. Scrum Master is mastering this, the Scrum theory. You understand it's easy for every one of us to understand the Scrum organizational systems. Now, after that, how do you create patterns out of it? And great practice. There's no best practice. There's great practice agreed by the team. And the Scrum Master will be the facilitator in that. And as we say, it's not just a team coach. It's Scrum team and organization. Remember that, because I'm going to stress it all the way down to the end of that show. And the accountability of the Scrum Master as a facilitator, as a servant leader, they have to do this by enabling the Scrum team. And the Scrum team include your product owner that need to be that need to be coached as well, as much as the developer, the designer, the QA people, and any stakeholders with a subject matter expert that you will need in your team to deliver your good. It's a product, it's a service. So stop it with all of your loosey, stupid social media debate about, is it a product? Is it a working product? So back in the day, the Agile Manifesto was just stating working software. Now we said working product. It's not enough for the work people. So they need to say the working services. Come on, it's a good. You deliver something. So just do it. So Scrum Master are true leaders. They are not manager. So that's why it's really funny when I see Agile project manager or even worse, a job posting asking for Scrum Master project manager. No, it's like in the video at the intro we show. as your Scrum Master and your product owner, I will decide da 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 da. So it's completely wrong. It's the wrong way to do Agile and to especially do the Scrum pattern, because I remind you again, Scrum is not necessarily Agile. It's the father of Agile for software development. Okay, so let's move on. So the Scrum Master serves. Okay, it's a leader. He serves. He lead by example. Okay, and again, you see here, team and the larger organization and the organization and the entire company. Don't need enterprise Scrum for business agility to do so. Empower wisely your Scrum Master because you decided to adopt Scrum to deliver you good. So let's do it. So Scrum Master serve the Scrum team in several ways, including coaching the team, helping the Scrum team focus on creating high value increment to meet the definition of them. The very first question when I enter a new gig, a new mandate, or probably we do it at the pre-sales or the discovery phase, like kind of before having the mandate, is we ask, what is your definition of done as an organization that produce that? So what do you produce? Who do you serve? Do you have a definition of them? If they don't, we start very badly. So that's why it's really important, because the Scrum Master will facilitate and serve the team by helping to focus on this commitment. And the commitment, it's within the organization definition of them. That could be sliced into any other thing after. The Scrum Master will also help. They say causing here, but for me, it's always been assist the removal of impediment to the Scrum team progress and ensuring that all Scrum events take place and are positive, productive, and kept within the time box. We agreed on time box is not to pressure anyone. It's not to have this velocity matrix that every CIO wants. No. The Scrum event, it's to cut on meetings. We don't want to have meetings. That was part of the thing. We want to interact with each other with the right person at the right moment for the right time. But we need to gather, at least for a daily, to coordinate. I'm sorry. To coordinate the work that we do together, to remind us of the product goal into the sprint incremental goal. Okay? So time boxes is just to value our time together and our quality of presence. Time box not equal production. It's equal quality of presence. Meaningful moment that we spend together to achieve something. And the Scrum Master as a servant leader will serve the product owner and anyone in the business that own the ideas or the product itself or the service that you deploy. Okay? And this is 4 major part as a Scrum Master servicing the product owner or the business owner. You will have as a Scrum Master to help find effective, like the technique for an effective product goal definition, okay, and a product backlog management. It's really important. Scrum Master, you could say it like, I love to use the football, the European football, and it's the Mondial right now, so why not? In my training of Scrum Master and even the product owner, I have a share slide, whatever I'm training. And the share slide show a goalie, the goalkeeper. And please tell me in the comment, who is the goalkeeper? The product owner or the Scrum Master? And who is the defense player? The Scrum Master or the product owner? And for those who are live on this December 2nd, you could put in the chat. I see 26 people watching right now. So chat it. Who is the goalkeeper? Scrum Master, product owner? And who is the defense player? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Comment. No chat on the live. Well, for me, the goalkeeper is the product owner. She or he is the one having the vision. And the Scrum Master is the defense player that will facilitate that the other team won't score the goal before our team. So the Scrum Master is like the captain play in what we used to call the left defense, if he's not an attackant. So that's why the services to a product owner, it's like in the play of rugby or soccer. So you have to find those techniques to manage. In the product backlog, it's all the field, okay? And you will help the Scrum team understand the need for clear and concise product backlog item that the team should refine by understanding it with the facilitation and services of the Scrum Master to become these sprint backlog item of task comprehensively enough small to do the increment, at least to do the increment. And that famous sprint goal that now it's attached to the product goal. And note on this, because yesterday I had a coaching circle and people were struggling with the Atlassian terms of a product backlog item, because we have, to be agile and to do agile, it's keep things simple and also simplify the language. So when people told me, oh, I don't understand, Alex, the Scrum guide doesn't talk about team, epic, user story, blah, blah, blah. Yes, purposefully, because that have nothing to do with Scrum, not even with Agile. These could be some techniques, though, to help the business understand. And the user story was created back in the day by, I think, Roman Pitchler in product management to vulgarize a great conversation between business and marketing and their developers and engineers. So it's at a stage of refining your product backlog item, okay? So maybe at first, and when we say we have to, it's like a great coffee grain. You have to mold it, you have to torrefact it. So of course, it's coarse grain at the beginning. It's big epic, because the idea of a business owner, it's so big, it's so huge, so it's an epic. Okay, it's epic. It's a great big movie, but we don't know all the storytelling that goes into this, or all the back end needed for the green screen or the blue screen, you see? So I use the movie emulation to understand that. But at the end of the day, it's a hierarchy of the sizing. So if you're smart enough, if you're a great Scrum Master, you understand that at first the idea is very big, so we have to refine it with specialists, with a great sysadmin who will tell you what you need in the back end to produce this and to create this behavior into the apps and so on and so on. So you don't want to have any epic into your sprint backlog. It's too big a thing. So the services to product owner from a Scrum Master, and the Scrum Master need to understand that. He needs to understand that user stories are not necessarily a task. That user stories could be a technique to have the product owner with the business at the same table with engineer to understand each other. It's part of the value stream mapping, the value stream, or even the customer journey mapping, that everybody will agree on simple language. And then the task will be something more specific and technically. So that's part of the service of a Scrum Master. It's very important. And more often, it's and especially large-scale organization, I see really, that was the coach telling me, I call him a coach because it's a coach for me, but that's the Scrum Master was telling me 2 weeks ago. So like, Fredo, Alex, I'm struggling to provide that part of just describe as a Scrum guide. I could not necessarily help the product owner, because the product owner is just another employee in this large-scale organization under an RTE that's calling the shot for him. So you see, again, save, come and disrupt negatively the environment to have great Scrum. Because if the release trained engineer is the leader or the manager of the product owner, and they will call it technical product owner, so it's not even the business yet, see? So all of these are anti-patterns. All of these are elements that really prevent you to accomplish great Scrum pattern and to be agile in that sense, okay? And I already give you a hint on the business case of what have you done with my Scrum Master. transforming her or him into a secretary of I don't know what, because their duty and their accountability, it's this. And of course, an empirical product planning, continuous planning, especially if you're in a complex environment and you deal with new technology and R&D. And you'll see I've got a business case also on this with the Nectari example. And of course, on the product side, it's facilitating stakeholder collaboration as request or needed. Because yes, our product owner could say, hey, I need that kind of architect. Do we have someone outside of our team that could help us defining this or any kind of decision rights, delegation and stuff? Okay, so we need or we have to request, and the Scrum Master is there to help the product owner to have the right person at the right moment on the right table or the right Zoom. I'm sorry. Scrum Master serves the organization. Okay, this is my favorite part. And this is the part on our business case, especially in French Canada. I don't say that US is all at best. You have in a US mini Quebec, as I call it. But the problem is we have an inflation in Quebec, especially on the French side. We have an inflation of seeing the Scrum Master as a junior, as a secretary of, as I said, if you apply the SAFe or Discipline Agile, the Scrum Master is diluted into a team or even sometimes overload up to 9 teams. I'm seeing it with one of my coaches. That's not acceptable. And they'd never have access to organization management, whether it's the level. So you see, just before we said the Scrum Master serve the product owner and the business to facilitate stakeholder collaboration as requested or needed. In my business case, I see too often from my 2 coaches that they don't even have access, hierarchy or no hierarchy, to the manager of a SME that they need. And they have to go through sometime a project or a program manager. And then after people will say, oh, Scrum doesn't work. Yeah, bravo. Because you don't put the environment, you don't create the environment to make it work. And you create those water Scrum fall in that business case because you have a project manager that will decide if you talk to an enterprise solution architect. Jesus Christ. Wake up, people. I'm telling you. And the Scrum Master should normally, and the spirit of the Scrum system created by Jeff Shutterland and Ken Schraber, and by Mike Beadle and Michael Lukaby, serve the organization in these ways, leading, training, and coaching the organization. A great Scrum Master is in charge of up to 4 teams, depending on your context and what kind of product that you manage and you deliver. So he will facilitate the team. And by the way, each team have his own product owner with its own backlog. So he will repeat 4 times what he's servicing for what we just saw before. Okay, very important. But in the organization level, the Scrum Master should have enough buffer time to go lead the theory and practice comprehension to any other stakeholders outside of those teams. Performing education even to the C-level suite. Training and coaching the organization on top of the team. On the Scrum adoption, not transformation. It's adoption in 2022, moving on in 2023. Stop it with your transformation. You don't transform a shit. You adopt something and you evolve with it. And you need a great Scrum Master who's the coach of Scrum if you choose to have Scrum as your organizational system. And create framework accordingly to your stream, your value stream, your feature base, anything. And the Scrum Master serving the organization of any size, by the way. Don't start commenting Oh, but you know, the big bank, I did that in big bank in London. Why does the English understand Scrum and the substantial hierarchy in parallel of their big hierarchy? And here in Quebec, we cannot. It's a question of will. It's a question of understanding the substantion. If you don't understand substantion, you don't get Scrum. And it's one of the perfect example here. Because 96% of the Scrum Master in Quebec are prevent to do great services to product owner and business product management. And they are certainly not accessing and training every stakeholder and the organization outside of IT, including the upper management. Some organizations was, oh, the agile coach and the enterprise. Yeah, they create again these hierarchical centralized things. So anyway, that's another thing. We'll see more in deep later in a few minutes about the importance of, if you choose Scrum, which is not Agile, if you choose Agile with kind of an umbrella of shit things to do, it's a cash, man. Scrum Master Organization Services will plan, do the planning, advising, Scrum implementation within the organization. So the scaling part is here. You start with a team. You experiment in a couple of sprints. It's doing well. We deliver good incrementally. So now, slowly, you will create another team. And the planning is there. The budgetarization is there. According to what is the definition of done of the organization, what is the goal, ultimately, of the product line or the service line. So then it's an onboarding process. And this is when you can become more an agile coach or an enterprise Scrum coach. It's because you might need to also support all the Scrum Master who are more dedicated to the team level or the feature-based level, okay? And the Scrum Master organization level, again, will help employees and stakeholders to understand and enact an empirical approach. Let me repeat it again, an empirical approach for complex work, and let go of stakeholders who don't need this empirical approach because they don't have complex work. And of course, the Scrum Master at the organization level, again, will be there to remove barriers between stakeholders and the Scrum teams. So all your scaling is there already. Why do you need a scale agile framework? And especially if you do Scrum, you will be better off with Scrum at scale. And if you'd like something more centralized, you could go with less. Anyways, I'm agnostic because for me, a scaling with the onboarding process of the adoption evolution of Scrum could be done if you empower your Scrum Masters doing this as described. It's not prescribed, but it's a good starting point if you could empower the one you call your Scrum Master and your organization. You don't need an agile coach for that. I know my colleague on LinkedIn will hate me for that, but actually an agile coach is just a name for a Scrum coach. Or it's because the organization setting you work in is not just doing Scrum. I understand that. So you could be called an agile coach, but there's no different. Everybody is a coach. Everybody should coach the team, teach the team, and the organization as well. That being said, so that was it. That was it for the part of descripting, sorry. What is a Scrum Master? From the source. And of course, you will tell me that, but my goodness, there's a lot of things that it's, yeah. Because, again, Scrum is a lean organizational system. From that foundation, okay, you will start creating your own framework. So just again to cut a crap on another anti-pattern, another false debate, if you ask me, it's all about the Spotify model. Even Spotify themselves will tell you, well, we just use that Scrum system and we did emulate and create our own framework. System, framework. You know, the creator of Dilbert, you know, this little comic things in newspaper about engineer making fun of management and stuff. His name is Scott Adam. My favorite quote of Scott Adam, the creator of Dilbert, is losers have goals and system it's for winner. And to understand that without being offended, you have to understand the power of subvention as an hierarchy model. Subvention, again, it's your circular leadership type of thing. When everyone, depending on the circle, touching together, collaborating together. The total interaction of stakeholders between each other to accomplish a common goal. Or some goals within that system that will help you achieve that definition of that. So you see, subvention, Marushka. What is inside what? Peanut butter inside the chocolate for the Reese lover like me. So now that we understand more, who is the Scrum Master? Now let me ask you, what have you done to our Scrum Master? It's incredible. What have you done to our Scrum Master? I won't name them. I won't name the company they work for. But let me give you two examples. And from what we just saw in the Scrum Guide. People will talk to you about transformation. There's no such thing as transformation. In one business case, they wanted to improve their delivery cycle. And they thought Scrum as a system will help them, enabling a framework to do so. If they could understand better the sprint event, cutting all the useless meeting into dedicated, focus, and courageous meeting of Scrum within a 3 weeks cycle, and who should be my Scrum Master, and how should he be the one to help this adoption, onboarding the team, empirically try this approach, inspect and adapt at every retrospective, reviewing the product with customer and user feedback. So that's all I give the training for them. What about like 10 people, including the upper manager? We explain them that and so on and so on. They have a complex environment. And to add on to their complexity of the technology they want to use, I will say like back then, 70% of their developers and designer were green. Green in the sense it was their first permanent job, their first assignment out of university. Maybe some at work as freelancer while at university practicing their coding, but really working in a professional setting, servicing application for client and finance and BI and statistics. So that was the setup. And with the clouding thing, the new way of scripting Java, it was complex. So they say, if we're going to be more complex like this, and will be important that we keep our place in the market and we even disrupt the market of our type of application, let's call Alex from Agile Lounge and let's ask him to train us and coach us and find a Scrum Master. So I did find 2 Scrum Master. And in the process is really funny. When I say I'm an agnostic system and framework as your true business agility coach, they asked for Scrum. We said, okay. So I did a little assessment, questioning people, seeing the dynamic, their SDLC and everything. we identify one person who was fit to be a Scrum Master internally, and we start posting outside to have someone with some kind of experience to join it. Product ownership was really clear. They were good on that side, sort of. But we did discover that among the 5 teams that they have, 2 of them will be more kind of a Kanban with DevOps or DevOps with Kanban, because most of their items were not related to developing the new feature or to create the new application or something. It was to maintain and to respond to customer issue, customer tickets, bugs, stuff like this. So the first request was, let's onboard a team and let's scale it up to the other 5 teams. And we end up that I start doing some kind of Kanban training for 2 of them. And we did that first because they were very operational and they really liked it. And I said to the Scrum Master, here, or you could also help them because, as we just saw in the Scrum Guide, he's there to help product management, account management, any stakeholders needed. So again, when you see all of these buzzwording about, oh, Scrum ban, no, it was not Scrum ban. This organization chose Scrum because of complex work to do. It was a great fit for purpose, giving them product gold and iteration incremental gold to have quick win. It was better than the classical project management they were going through before. And I think they embrace for 3 teams this kind of dynamic of Scrum. And the other 2 teams really embrace more the Kanban, continuous delivery, dropping every Thursday. So that was at this level, that was great. And again, when I start telling my client, my sponsor, who was the VP IT, that the Scrum Master should also help the Kanban, he said like, oh, should I not hire like a Kanban manager, whatever. I said, I mean, the lead team of the service to customer, the customer service team could be at some point because he was really understanding the Kanban process. So I said, yeah, he could act as a coach, but your Scrum Master should be empowered to talk to your CEO, your other colleague in the vice presidents of your enterprise. It's an enterprise about like 200 people. So it's a medium scale kind of enterprise. I'd say that. So don't make the mistake. Let your Scrum Master do what I'm doing for you now, educating the other part of the business, and keep onboarding team as you'll grow. And if you need more Scrum Master, that's what you do. But a Scrum Master community of practice, according to the experience, not the seniority, but the experience, you should in that sense. Okay. Oh, thank you, Carla, for the coffee. And if you'd like to do like Carla, and also, I think it was Vanessa this week and calls, and thank you for the 20 new subscribers last week when I was sick. So if you'd like to do like her, and Rumble especially, and YouTube description, you have the link to buy me a coffee. It's only $3 and I love coffee. So thank you so much, Clara, for that live on the spot. She just spoke. Give me a coffee like this. Thank you. So yeah, so that's Scrum Master that I help onboarding the first team and facilitate. So it was great, but I have to, as the Agile coach, protecting him to make sure he'll be able into this medium scale organization, take the lead and teach and coach this Scrum adoption, including their tailored need of a DevOps type of thing with Kanban flow for the operational and customer service team. So I tell him like, because for me, I'm here for 3 months. When I leave, that is the Scrum Master that could become your Agile coach. If you want to divide it like enterprise coach and team coach. At the end of the day, that could be the way that you see it if it's a story that talk to you. So you see, that business case was easier, but nevertheless, I'm still coaching that person after 3 years. And he says, like, now there are 6 Scrum Masters. And beside him, who is more an agile coach now, the other Scrum Master don't have this spirit access to the management. Not even the upper management, the middle management. So I said, oh, that's sad. So what could you do about it as an agile coach? He said, wow. Said, Alex, the reality is they cut it like this, and only the product owner could have those access, so they're not doing exactly as the Scrum guide described. So I just coach him and remind him that as the first Scrum Master who established it 4 years ago, and now the Agile coach, leading and teaching and coaching about agility within your organization, you will have to make an agreement to do that duty and that responsibility. You have to do it in your professional development. You have to do it into your yearly evaluation and goal settings. I mean, make the change, work with people care about it, define it. So I spark him to define his job, because that's the thing. When I started doing Scrum back in 1999, 2 engineers grab me. They invite me and they ask me to do this for them. But we did that in secrecy until we could prove result. And then it's going. So when I'm asked, like at a Scrum Beer last time, we had a great discussion about this, and they asked me, so what do we do if the organization is not supporting us? I said, well, you have to ask questions, because most of the large-scale organizations, they said they are open, they have a town hall where people could go and ask questions and challenge the CEO and stuff, according to the vision of being more agile. Yeah. I've seen people asking that question as a Scrum Master. That's my second quick business case. She went into that town hall, especially on Zoom. It was more easy during the pandemic. She asked the question, why are, at least, she was very polite, the community of practice of Scrum cannot be an enabler of helping you understanding Scrum within your agile adoption for the need of a specific segment. And they fire her. This is how stupid we are in Quebec. Do as I said, but I won't support you. And if you challenge me, you lose your job. So I help her flipping with my flip program, becoming a wiser and better Scrum Master, freelancer now. And she make more money than when she was struggling within that big organization. Then again, I don't name anyone. For those who's watching that don't even ask. But the open space, safe space, DIE of that company was not applied in her case. She was there for 10 years, Scrum Master for 2 years. Understanding, she was fully adopting Scrum, understanding business agility, helping great delivery in her sector, having prize, great increase in salary and stuff. But because she dare ask why her fellow Scrum Master and herself cannot have an appointment with you, Madam President of X Inc. A debate ensued on Zoom. That was a Thursday morning. The Monday after, she was not able to log in. She called and they say, you could come and grab your thing. 10 years. 2 years Scrum Master. Great Scrum Master. She's great. She's doing better now. Remote working from whatever she wants. With great clients on both sides of the borders. So you see, guys, What have you done to my Scrum Master? They learn, and when you pay them a CSM, especially a CSM, because PSM is more self-learning, but nevertheless, if you go through the training, whether it's self-training with Scrum.org or you go in class with Scrum Alliance, you are going to really, because other people say, oh yes, I read the Scrum Guide. Yeah, well, did you really read the Scrum Guide? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Don't lie, okay? But when you do training to get certified and answer those exam questions, and you better read it, and you better interact with other Scrum Master and understanding the nuance. So, of course, they all know that. Of course, they need a coach like me to make sure that they understand the descriptive element of it, that they will be able with their team to agree on what they need to tailor from that foundation, depending on their maturity. And when I say maturity here is the understanding of Scrum, okay? So that is very important. So can you imagine that? You're a big or medium or small organization. You sent your project manager or your what have you, anyone to become a Scrum Master. So you think that this 3 days training or the 1 or 2 week self-learning with Scrum.org, they will be certified. And because they're certified, but with no really experience, and of course, you create this inflation of people who you could do whatever you want with them. And I know in the United States, they have the same problem. But at least in the United States, they have a more mentorship program with old dog like me to oversee. That's why I'm loving to do it for free with my 20 Scrum Master. And I've got about 10 product owner as well that I'm coaching, doing some clinic at the Crew Collective in Montreal. And when I go to New York, with some of those there in Bryant Park. So we have those kind of open discussion, open coaching, where I help them. Sometimes I'm just there to console them and tell them what they could do within their non-safe environment. When I say safe, I'm talking about safer. But of course, if it's a very bizarre thing, because you receive that training, you want to apply it, so you come back to your organization, and what have you done to my Scrum Master? You scrap it. It's just a doer. She's just like your secretary of a team. Worst, if you use Discipline Agile from PMI, you still have project manager calling the shot for the product owner and the Scrum Master. What the fuck is that? Not really, I'm pissed off. Because after that, you're gonna nag and you're gonna say that, oh, Scrum is not working. Scrum is not working. Of course, Scrum is not working. Because you use a fucking Discipline Agile or safe, even worse, to create a slave of your Scrum Master and the team that work for them. From a centralized planning of 3 months and a PI, you're a bunch of laughable stock. And so that's probably why Safe has his own Scrum Master shit training. To even make it worse. What have you done to my Scrum Master? Huh? What have you done to my Scrum Master? That's exactly the issue. This is exactly why fundamentally it's not working. And then you fail. You don't fail because the system is not working. It's because, one, you don't apply the system at first as it is to practice it. Huh? Really on that, I praise Cockburn and Fowler, Martin Fowler, about the Shuari kind of mindset to help you understand the progression you will make. So again, the shoe moment is take the Scrum Guide, take your training, and especially if you don't have any experience. I've got three coachee. They have their certification, they have a great mind, they understand Scrum, but they never practice it. So if they work in these kind of setting, they will lose the essence of Scrum. So we create a generation of Scrum Master, especially here in Quebec and Canada, that don't understand subvention. They just see the safe scaling framework as the reality of Agile, which is not. They don't even understand the design thinking of Lean to enable technique to help the product management. And they are still catch, with product and program manager and portfolio manager and a lot of people and a lot of noise and complicated settings. So, as we say, we should use Scrum, especially Scrum and complex work environment, but not to create complicated process and tool. Because again, those process and tools will slow you down. If you need too much authorization to do something, if you still have this concept of a build master helping you with your package to delivery, of course you will say Scrum fell, but you don't have any condition to make it win. So that's my take on it. I know people find me bold sometimes, but we have to speak the truth. We have to be authentic about it. And if nobody tell you that you are doing Agile and Scrum wrong, then you don't participate in this empirical process of emergent pattern. But I'm sorry, guys. Stop whining. Stop your shitty articles on LinkedIn and Medium about that Scrum is not working. And don't blame the Scrum Master, because most of them, they want to do the good thing, but they are proven to do so. So what happened to my Scrum Master? I hope to help you. You could contact me to have a free discovery call for any of your business transformation, digital transformation that I work with, online business systems to achieve it. And I'm welcoming you on an individual or team basis if you need any training and real great Scrum. And I'll also giving you some tips. So in the YouTube and Rumble description of this great Friday Live Agile number 93, you will have the link to take your free discovery session. It's about half an hour we go together. And if you're in Montreal, Tuesday to Thursday, I could welcome you and the Crew Collective in person. So on that, again, I remind you, I hope you've learned something. And if you want to teach me something, tell me in the comment below. I'm eager to learn also from you. Help me and help this channel by smash the like button and, of course, subscribe and hit the notification. On that, we are going to finish it with one of my favorite group. And I wish you all a great weekend. And remember, and especially the Scrum Master out there, and maybe because of my voice and I'm out of a sickness, I might redo it again. Tell me in the comment if you want me to maybe redo it again and with less swearing and emotion. I don't know. But remember one thing, especially for you, my dear Scrum Master, you are a beautiful person. You are a powerful person. You are free to do Scrum the way you learn it, and you want to do it with your team feedback. And you're free to be a Scrum Master and ask an audience with Upper Manager. On that, have a beautiful weekend, and let's use